Well, good morning, everybody. We're reading 1 Kings 9, 2 Chronicles 8 this morning. And in this, everything looks good. It really does. The temple's been built, everything is in its place. Um, Solomon's taken care of all the details. He has put the Israelite or the Levites and the priests, and everything's been put in its order. Um, the temple having been built, he he he's making his offerings. It's a big party. Um, he prays right. He does everything right. He even realizes the queen shouldn't be in a place that where which has become holy ground. So he builds her a completely different palace in a different region and sets her up there. So following to all the laws to a point. He wasn't following the king's law, but he was following the laws, and so everything looks good. But as you read this, you have a sense that Solomon is not David. Solomon was definitely following the rules that were put in place. He was doing everything that looked good. But there was something off. Just as you read it, you can tell there's something off. I mean, Solomon only has, as far as we know, 2 conversations with the Lord. He only meets with the Lord twice. And he has done things. His heart, his desire to do what is right, it pleases the Lord. But it's not the same thing as David's heart. It's not the same relationship. It doesn't have the same passion. It doesn't have that same daily dependency. With Solomon, there's a system put in place, so Solomon obeys that system. He follows that. It's a religious expression and not a relationship. This only lasts for so long. You can only live this way for so long, and so this is going to be the challenge that Solomon has, and we know it doesn't do him well, because you only get so much satisfaction out of that. At some point you have the emptiness. It doesn't have the answers, and you struggle with it because it doesn't have the answers. There's a form of godliness, but it doesn't have the power. So when Solomon becomes bored with this, and he starts exploring, and he starts wondering, he starts questioning, he starts experimenting, he ends up, marriage was a way of truce, right? So Solomon is trying to make all these truces with everything around him, which is crazy because he already had peace. Solomon was a man of peace, and yet he was trying to perform for himself what God had already done for him. It was already his. And so Solomon is having these marriages and these alignments that he didn't need to have in order to have peace, because he was a man of peace. And in doing it, he ends up, he's going into bad territory, because one of the things that the king was warned against was too many wives. Now, Solomon has already broken a number of the rules. He married Pharaoh's daughter. That was one of his first acts, which he wasn't supposed to take on a foreign wife. He was trading in horses, which he wasn't supposed to do. He was having trade with Egypt, which he wasn't supposed to do. So there's a number of things that, as king, he wasn't supposed to do, and he was breaking all of those. And so it was a slippery slope, and eventually he gets to the place where his relationship isn't such. He isn't anchored. He isn't anchored in Yahweh. And see, this can happen to us when we don't pursue that passionate relationship, because Jesus told us we had to be passionate about him. We had to be passionate about Father. And if we don't go after that passionate relationship, we can make alliances that we shouldn't be making, and we can get distracted in our boredness. If we don't see don't see life to the relationship, we can become bored with that relationship and then end up being distracted and attracted away. And you may think right now that you're okay, but if all you have is a religious form and you aren't developing the relationship, then look to Solomon. Understand that can be any of us. Don't really want to have that kind of heavy note on this day. But I just pray that you understand the value of the relationship and you're chasing after the relationship. And you don't have some sort of form that, as long as you read 3 chapters a day, as long as you say your prayers, now I lay me down to sleep, as long as you do a good deed or something a day, you're going to be okay. Because it's not about any of that. Those are all fruits. Those are all fruits of the relationship. It's a relationship you need to chase after. Be blessed. Love you guys.